Hey, welcome back everyone to Boosted Films blog number 2. Today we're going to take a look at timing belt tools and why you do need them, or maybe you don't. We're going to take a look at changing some exhaust manifold studs. We also did an oil pan gasket, so we're going to cover changing the oil pan gasket on this motor. And then we're going to cover video monetization, and we're also going to talk about a few of your other favorite YouTubers. Cue the fancy intro. We don't have a fancy intro? Just a graphic? All right, we'll just run the graphic. All right, so the first thing you might notice is I did get the timing belt back on and set, ready to go. So this was kind of a practice timing belt run for me. Everything went pretty good. I finished filming what I need to do the timing belt how-to video, but I did not put my cams in. So I'm probably gonna end up redoing the timing when I put the cams in. But since I kind of have it all set in place, it should go a little bit easier next time when I do it. But for now, I just honestly wanted to get through the timing belt install and get that video up and ready to go. One other thing you might have seen is I did pick up a timing belt toolkit. This is a J Racing timing belt toolkit. And basically what they give you is this little rod here that can go in, put some tension on this arm. So you could push this plunger in and then put the grenade pin back into this timing belt tensioner. And that way you could actually remove it a little bit easier. This rod would pretty much only be needed if you were doing this timing belt in the car, which a lot of you might be, so that'll be good to have for that. It didn't really help me at all since I had everything out of the car. This little tool is something you definitely want. What this does is you put it on the tensioner pulley itself, and it just kind of gives you a place to add tension to the pulley itself by putting a socket on the end of here, and then you can just bring it in to put tension on it. The alternate way, when I say you do need timing belt pulley tools, you kind of do. It makes it a lot easier. But the alternate way I've learned of doing it is you actually put 2 Allen wrenches in here, and then you would just use a screwdriver to actually kind of put between the 2 Allen wrenches and pull it tight. This is basically a cam gear stop. They make generic ones at an auto parts store. Once you have your timing marks lined up, basically you can just kind of drop this in place, and it'll hold your cam gears in place like that. And that way, because if you watch my timing belt video, you'll see when I take the timing belt off, the cams kind of want to move. They're gonna, because the way basically the cam lobes are riding, they want to sit in a different position. So the cam's gonna twist a little bit. What this little stopper does is it keeps the cams from twisting. So it's kind of really nice when you actually want to put the belt back on. Another thing I did is I bought the exhaust manifold stud replacement kit from MA Performance. I got this kit from them for like 20 bucks. And it includes all the studs and bolts you need. And what I ended up doing was replacing a couple studs that were basically missing. I ended up running a tap through the smaller ones. And if you guys are curious in the tap sizes, I have them right here. These smaller bolts are an 8 by 125 metric tap, obviously. 8 by 1.25 is the smaller studs. And the 2 larger studs are 10 by 1.25. Now, I actually have 3 larger studs in mind now because this is, in my opinion, it's kind of a dumb setup, but there's basically an oil galley that runs behind the lower studs of the head, the exhaust manifold studs, that is. So I had to tap this out, but I was gonna helicoil it, and if you don't know what helicoil is, it's basically like you would drill a bigger hole and then you'd put in some threads to make new threads. But what I didn't want to do is actually drill, because drilling in basically would be putting some aluminum shavings from the head into the oil galley, and I really wanted to avoid that. What I ended up doing is I just actually ran a tap one size bigger, so the 10 by 125. I just ended up tipping the motor on its side, so shavings would kind of fall down this way. And then I put some grease on the tap every time I ran it through. So I put some grease on it, started it, ran it through a little ways, not even a half a turn probably, backed it out, cleared off any of the shavings, and then I just kind of repeated that process over and over again. And I also had a little tool that I used to kind of scrape out any shavings that were still in there. Again, that's why I had it tipped down so gravity would kind of be on my side and try and get those shavings to come towards me. With that, I still did actually have to drill the hole a little bit bigger in the exhaust manifold, but since the exhaust manifold was off and I had a drill bit, that was really no problem. So I drilled it a little bit bigger for that bigger stud on on the bottom row here. And I had some high temp Permatex I put on there just to add a little bit more of a seal, especially for the ones where, you know, the oils technically could push out through. So I put a little bit of thread sealer on, bolted them in. So I wouldn't recommend like drilling anything if you don't have to. If you do have just basically a metric tap for the right size, you could try running that through just to clean out the threads first, and you could also put some grease on there just to pick up any, you know, loose materials. So that would be good to do too. So another thing I just did was change the oil pan gasket, which if you don't know, there technically is no oil pan gasket from the factory. You just kind of buy some Permatex, Right Stuff, Great Stuff gasket maker, and you use that. But it kind of looked like my gasket was leaking anyways. So what I wanted to do was just take the gasket off and then kind of check inside the motor too, just make sure there weren't any metal shavings in there, anything I didn't know about, so I wasn't wasting a lot of time on this engine. I just kind of checked the rods and kind of made sure I couldn't move them a whole lot. You know, if they had a lot of play or something, it would obviously be a rod bearing that would be going bad. So I took the oil pan off. It was quite messy, so I made a trip over to my dad's place. My dad has a cool shop with a lot of tools, a lot more tools than I got. So I went over to my dad's shop and ended up jet washing the oil pan and some other parts while I was there. So I jet washed the oil pan. It took off a lot of the paint on the outside, so I ended up repainting it as well. I repainted the oil pan, bolted it back on. And I'm not really going to make a how-to video on how to change the oil pan gasket, because actually there is one out there already, and this is kind of leading into the next part I wanted to talk about. But C0 Media has a lot of EVO videos, a lot of how-to videos. So he did one on how to change the oil pan gasket, and like I told you guys in the last episode, I'm like anyone else, so I kind of Googled this first before I tried doing it, and his video came up. I've been watching some of his videos for a while anyways. He's got a really cool EVO, a lot of fun blog videos too. So if you want to check out C0 Media, I'm going to put a link in the description down below. He's really close to 100,000 subscribers actually, which is awesome. So if you guys want to help get him to 100,000 subscribers, that'd be cool. But anyways, he did a how-to video on how to change the oil pan gasket as well. And he did it with the engine in the car. So if you want to check out his how-to, that'll give you more details on how to actually change the oil pan on your EVO if you're looking to do that. So by now you might be saying, well, that's convenient. Why are you pushing all these other channels? And why are you telling me that you bought this from MA Performance and you bought this from JA Racing? Well, honestly, I'm telling you just to tell you this is where I bought it from. It kind of came up about monetization on these videos and in the comments, and honestly, I thought about it, and I don't want to monetize these blog videos, at least not right now. I might monetize them later after I'm done with this build. But, you know, for the purpose of right now, I just want my regular subscribers to actually be able to watch this and hopefully tell other people about it if they want to, and, you know, help them out. So for right now, I am not going to monetize the videos in this blog series. And also, I'm going to let you know right now that nothing in this blog series is going to be sponsored. To be totally honest with you, like, I've tried to get sponsorship in the past for certain videos, and like, it's a pain in the butt. I'm not a salesperson, so it just sucks. So that doesn't motivate me to do these videos anyways. So I'm telling you straight out right here that, one, no one's paying me, no one gave me any free stuff for this, all right? But people that help me, I'm going to give them shout outs, obviously. If they help me, I obviously want to help them. I've been asking questions to Ron at RS Motors. I've been asking questions to Andy Schmedegard at 365 Racing, and they've been helping me out along the way with questions I have. So I just kind of wanted to bring that to light, that if anything is ever sponsored, I'm going to let you know that it's a sponsor. But for this whole blog series, there's basically nothing that's going to be sponsored. And something a lot of people probably don't even really think about, but filming all this stuff takes a lot of time itself. I have over 2 hours of footage right now that I actually need to upload into my computer before I can start editing this. So it takes me longer to do these jobs because I'm trying to film it at the same time. Again, I'm pretty much a one-man crew here, just filming myself, working on these things. So just something to keep in mind whenever you're watching any how-to video, that, you know, people could have did the job twice as fast if they weren't filming themselves doing it. So I always appreciate when other people do how-to videos. So question of the video, who are some of your other favorite YouTube channels? What are some other YouTube channels you really like to watch? Car-related ones for me, again, I mentioned C0 Media because they have a lot of helpful how-to tips and they do a lot of the same stuff I do, so that's cool. Engineering Explained is another YouTube channel that I like to tune into and learn a little bit from. I'm curious, what other YouTube channels, especially automotive related channels, do you like to watch and subscribe to? So that's it for the Boosted Films EVO Blog number 2. Thanks for watching. As always, if you want more live, up-to-date stuff, I'm also on Snapchat and Instagram, Facebook, stuff like that. So you can follow me on those places too if you want to. Comments, questions, leave them in the description down below wherever you watch this video, and I'll try to follow up with you if I can. If I did something wrong, yell at me, tell me what I did wrong. That'd be good too. So, as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you in episode 3. Today we're going to take a look at, I don't know, my neighbors are having a party. It's kind of loud over there. Okay. And something a lot of people probably